The Ultimate Fighter, United States vs. United Kingdom. The Ultimate Fighter, United States vs. United Kingdom is the ninth installment of the Ultimate Fighting Championship UFC-produced reality television series The Ultimate Fighter. It began production in January 2009 and began airing on Spike on April 1, 2009. The season featured lightweight fighters 146-155 lb and welterweight fighters 156-170 lb. In order to be considered for the show, a fighter had to have competed in at least 3 professional bouts prior to the tryouts in October 2008. UFC middleweight fighter and winner of The Ultimate Fighter 3, Michael Bisping, served as one of the 2 coaches. The other coach was Dan Henderson. Henderson earned his place as a coach at UFC 93, Franklin vs. Henderson by defeating Rich Franklin. Bisping and Henderson fought each other at UFC 100 on July 11, 2009. Henderson defeated Bisping in a second-round knockout. Cast. Coaches. Team United States. Dan Henderson, head coach. Cyril Diabate, Muay Thai instructor. Ricardo Feliciano, Jiu-Jitsu instructor. Gustavo Puglis, boxing instructor. Heath Sims, wrestling instructor. Team United Kingdom. Michael Bisping, head coach. Dave Jackson, Thai boxing instructor. Mario Neto, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor. Fighters. Team United States. Lightweights: Santino DeFranco, Jason Dent, Cameron Dollar, Richie Whitson. Welterweights: Don Marks Johnson, Frank Lester, Mark Miller, Jason Pierce. Team United Kingdom. Lightweights: Jeff Lawson, Ross Pearson, Martin Stapleton, Andre Winner. Welterweights: Dean Amasinger, David Faulkner, Nick Osipczak, James Wilkes. U.S. fighters eliminated in or before entry round. Lightweights: Paul Bird, John David Shackelford, failed medical exam, Tommy Hayden, Waylon Lowe, Rob Browning. Welterweights: Steve Berger, Ray Elb, Christian Fulgham, failed to make weight, Kevin Nabjian, Keel Reed. UK fighters eliminated in entry round. Lightweights: James Bryan, Dan James, Gary Kelly, A.J. Wen. Welterweights: James Bateman, Tommy Maguire, Chi Mills, Alex Reed. Others. Host: Dana White. Narrator: Mike Rowe. Episodes. Episode 1: Bangers and Mashers. The episode was filmed at the Wolfslair MMA Academy in England. Dana White announced that of the 16 competitors there, only 8 would be flying to the United States. They fought in elimination matches to decide who made the trip. The elimination matches were 2 rounds, with a third sudden victory round if there was a draw after the second round. The fights actually occurred before UFC 93, so both Rich Franklin and Dan Henderson were present to observe the fights, as was Michael Bisping. Andre Winner defeated Gary Kelly via KO knees and punches at 1:48 of round 1. Jeff Lawson defeated James Bryan via submission armbar at 1:45 of round 1. James Wilkes defeated Chi Mills via submission heel hook at 0:30 of round 1. Martin Stapleton defeated Dan James via submission rear naked choke at 1:28 of round 1. Ross Pearson defeated A.J. Wen via TKO strikes at 0:21 of round 2. Nick Osipczak defeated Tommy Maguire via KO at 4:8 of round 1. Dean Amasinger defeated Alex Reed via decision after 3 rounds. David Faulkner defeated James Bateman via submission heel hook at 1:47 of round 1. Episode 2: Scars and Stripes. Dana White met with Dan Henderson at the UFC Training Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. White met with the fighters and gave them a welcoming speech. Jason Pierce passed out due to difficulties in making weight. John David Shackelford was examined by a doctor and was discovered to have a contagious herpes lesion. He couldn't fight with it and was excused from the show. Christian Fulgham failed to make weight at his first attempt at weighing in. He was given more time to try to make weight, but was unable to. White called him out and made him admit he quit the show. Michael Bisping was not present during the U.S. elimination matches. Mark Miller defeated Kevin Nabjian, his teammate from home, via TKO punches at 1:59 of round 2. Richie Whitson defeated Paul Bird via submission rear naked choke at 3:11 of round 1. Santino DeFranco defeated Waylon Lowe via submission rear naked choke at 0:45 of round 2. Jason Pierce defeated Steve Berger via unanimous decision after 3 rounds. Cameron Dollar defeated Tommy Hayden via technical submission rear naked choke in round 2. Dom Marks Johnson defeated Royale via TKO strikes at 3:10 of round 1. Due to early departures by some fighters, only 6 fighters won an elimination round match to be part of Team USA. Keel Reed and Jason Dent were the only 2 fighters who had not fought an elimination round match. White said they couldn't get into the house without fighting an elimination match. The last 2 elimination round matches were announced for the next episode. Jason Dent vs. Rob Browning. Keel Reed vs. Frank Lester Episode 3 Red, White and Bruised Jason Dent, Robert Browning, Keel Reed, and Frank Lester moved into the Ultimate Fighter house with the rest of the fighters, even though they had not fought their elimination matches. Robert Browning, on the first night, the fighters are in the house, started causing problems. He began by throwing eggs at a group of fighters on the basketball court, urinating in other people's shower, and trying to get people to fight him. Frank Lester defeated Keel Reed via TKO at 3:16 of round 1. Referee Steve Mazzagatti stopped the fight while Lester had a kimura applied to Reed's arm. Reed appeared to be unconscious due to a slam he applied to Lester, which resulted in Reed hitting his own head into the mat in the process. Jason Dent defeated Robert Browning via TKO strikes at 3:36 of the first round. Dana White flipped a coin to determine which team would pick the first matchup. The matchup decision will then alternate from one team to the other until all of the first round matches are complete. White flips the coin and Team USA got the first pick. Episode 4 Game on. Michael Bisping introduced his assistant coaches, Mario Sucata Neto and Dave Jackson. Dan Henderson introduced his assistant coaches, Gustavo Puglis, Ricardo Feliciano, Cyril Diabate, and Heath Sims. Dan Henderson announced the first matchup. Nick Osipczak. Due to visa issues, Bisping was unable to watch the U.S. elimination matches. He reviewed Mark Miller's match on videotape, then focused on training Osipczak. Dana White gave his prediction that Miller would win the match. Nick Osipczak defeated Mark Miller via KO head kick at 3:54 of round 2. Episode 5 Wiggity Whack. Michael Bisping announced the next matchup, Andre Winner vs. Santino DeFranco. DeFranco mentioned that he tried out for Season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. After the medical exams, Dana White called him to tell him that he had 2 brain aneurysms and needed to seek medical treatment. DeFranco was originally told he would not be able to fight again due to the medical condition. However, his doctor finally cleared him to fight. Andre Winner defeated Santino DeFranco via TKO strikes at 3:49 of round 1. A segment of the episode focused on the infighting occurring within Team USA. This was presented in contrast with the camaraderie of Team UK. Dan Henderson announced the next matchup, Dean Amasinger. On the day of the fight, Michael Bisping was not present. Dana White says this was the first time in TUF history that a coach did not show up for a fight. Marks Johnson defeated Dean Amasinger via submission triangle choke at 140 of round 1. Episode 6 $100 a tooth. Michael Bisping announced the next fight, Martin Stapleton vs. Cameron Dollar. Bisping apologized to Dean Amasinger for not showing up to Amasinger's fight. Bisping said he was asleep due to jet lag. Cameron Dollar defeated Martin Stapleton via submission rear naked choke at 134 of round 1. Dan Henderson announced the next fight, Frank Lester vs. James Wilkes. Marks Johnson challenged Lester to knock one of Wilkes' teeth out during the match for $100. After the first round of Lester's match, his 4 front top teeth were knocked out and stuck in his mouth guard, causing a delay starting the second round while they were removed. James Wilkes defeated Frank Lester via submission armbar at 3-6 of round 2. In post-fight interviews, Lester revealed that, as a kid, his 4 front top teeth were knocked out and replaced with false teeth. After the match in the dressing room area, it was shown that Lester coughed up another tooth. Episode 7 The Bashroom. Richie Whitson had contracted a contagious bacterial infection, impetigo, on the right side of his mouth. Jason Pierce sprayed disinfectant around the house where Richie had touched things. There were conversations with Team USA coaches and teammates about Jason Pierce's work ethic and attitude. Jason Pierce said that the U.S. training was really frustrating for him. Michael Bisping brought in a sledgehammer and a tractor tire to train with. The fighters would swing the hammer and hit the tire. Andre Winner missed the tire twice, once breaking the mats the tire was sitting on. David Faulkner hit himself in the legs, which causes an infection inside his leg. In the coach's challenge, Henderson and Bisping played tennis for $10,000. The fighters for the winning coach would win $1,500. Henderson defeated Bisping 6-2. Michael Bisping announced the next fight, Ross Pearson vs. Richie Whitson. Ross Pearson defeated Richie Whitson via submission armbar at 3:40 of round 1. Episode 8 Negative Energy. Jason Pierce reported that he had a staph infection in his already injured foot and ankle. He wasn't sure if he could or would fight in his first round match. Dave Faulkner had a troublesome gag reflex that caused him to spit out his mouthpiece. Michael Bisping worked with Faulkner in the ring to attempt to train him to keep the mouthpiece in his mouth. Dan Henderson announced the next match, Jason Dent vs. Jeff Lawson. Dave Faulkner, Jeff Lawson, and Dean Amasinger held a Falls Count Anywhere wrestling match in the house. Dana White spoke with Jason Pierce and Dan Henderson. Pierce said that he was ready and able to fight, but acted like he didn't want to. White said he wasn't convinced that Pierce wanted to fight. Jason Dent defeated Jeff Lawson via submission anaconda choke at 2:22 of round 2. White spoke with Jason Pierce again. He informed Pierce that he wouldn't be allowed to fight because of the fighter's demeanor and attitude. Episode 9 Battle Royale. Dan Henderson informed Team US that Jason Pierce would not be fighting in the next match. Dana White called in Frank Lester and Mark Miller and asked them if they would be willing to replace Pierce. Both were willing to do so. Mark Miller was not medically cleared to fight due to a broken nose. Dana White decided that Frank Lester would return to the competition and fight David Faulkner even though he was missing 4 teeth. Henderson asked Michael Bisping about the teams swapping training times. Henderson said that teams are allowed to switch training times each week. An argument occurred between Bisping and Henderson, as Bisping did not want to change to the early training time, but offered to have the Faulkner-Lester fight decide the issue. Henderson declined this challenge. When the teams line up for the fight announcement, Bisping squirts water in the face of Marks Johnson as he wrongly believed that Johnson had made a racist comment during the coach challenge. They argued and Johnson left angrily. Bisping realized he had made a mistake as the comment came from Dollar, attempted to apologize. David Faulkner was still having gag reflex problems related to his mouthpiece, so he went to see a hypnotherapist to help with the situation. Frank Lester defeated Dave Faulkner after Dana White announces that the match will go to a sudden victory round. However, Dave Faulkner was exhausted and refused to fight another round. Episode 10 Smiling and punching Dana White and the coaches talked to the semifinalists to see who they wanted to fight. White announced the semifinal matchups. Nick Osipczak vs. Yes. DeMarcus Johnson. Andre Winner vs. Yes. Cameron Dollar. Ross Pearson vs. Jason Dent. James Wilkes vs. Frank Lester. Dana White pointed out that Frank Lester was, at that point, the only fighter in TUF history to lose his first match in the house, come back as a substitute and win. Richie Whitson overheard Jason Pierce talking with David Faulkner about how DeMarcus Johnson trained. At a later training session, Dan Henderson approached Pierce and asked if Pierce was talking to Team UK about Team US training sessions. Pierce denied that he was talking to Team UK. DeMarcus Johnson defeated Nick Osipczak via decision after 3 rounds. Episode 11 More ups, less downs. Cameron Dollar had sore ribs, causing training to be difficult and painful. Andre Winner defeated Cameron Dollar via submission triangle choke in round 1. During training, Ross Pearson's shoulder popped out of the socket. He had Michael Bisping yank on his arm to put it back in place. Ross Pearson defeated Jason Dent by decision after 3 rounds. Dana White presented the lightweight All-UK finalists Andre Winner vs. Ross Pearson. Episode 12 All-American Nightmare. Dan Henderson visited the TUF house and had a BBQ meal with Team US. Frank Lester discussed with Dan Henderson and later James Wilkes his attitude and demeanor towards their fight. He felt he was much calmer than in his first round match against Wilkes. Michael Bisping visited the TUF house and had dinner with Team UK. Dean Amasinger cooked dinner for the team. After Bisping left, Andre Winner played around spitting and throwing food at various Team UK members. Winner hit Amasinger with a mouthful of food. Amasinger chased Winner outside and threw Winner into the swimming pool. As Winner started climbing out of the pool, Dave Faulkner ran up and threw a bag of flour onto Winner. Everyone laughed it off as a good time. James Wilkes defeated Frank Lester via TKO knees in round 3. The welterweight final is set, James Wilkes vs. DeMarcus Johnson. Dana White said that even though Frank Lester lost to James Wilkes twice, he was to him the toughest son of a bitch I've ever met. Lightweight bracket. Welterweight bracket. Asterisk. Frank Lester replaced Jason Pierce after Dana White did not allow Pierce to continue in the tournament. The Ultimate Fighter 9 finale. The Ultimate Fighter United States vs. United Kingdom finale, also known as the Ultimate Fighter 9 finale, was a mixed martial arts event held by the Ultimate Fighting Championship UFC on June 20, 2009. Featured were finals from the Ultimate Fighter United States vs. United Kingdom in both the lightweight and welterweight divisions, as well as a main event between Diego Sanchez and Clay Guida. Background. A previously announced lightweight bout between Thiago Tavares and Melvin Gillard was called off due to an elbow injury suffered by Tavares. Gleison Tibau would step in as Tavares' replacement. Eric Schaefer was originally scheduled to face Thomas D. Royale at this event, but he injured his rib and was replaced by Mike Cisnolvics. A matchup between Anthony Johnson and Matt Brown was scrapped due to a knee injury suffered by Johnson. A replacement was set to be named, however, due to nagging injuries Brown did not fight on the card. This was the first time in the organization's history the UFC handed out 3 Fight of the Night bonuses. Another first for the UFC came in the form of Kim Winslow, the first female referee to officiate a fight in the organization. This fight card is also noted for 2 controversial decisions in bouts pitting Brad Blackburn against Edgar Garcia and Melvin Gillard against Gleison Tibau. Both Blackburn and Gillard received split decision victories from the judges in bouts that are considered questionable. The decisions cost Garcia his perfect record and snapped a 2-fight win streak for Tibau. This was the first UFC event to feature 5 Ultimate Fighter winners on the complete card, including Season 9 champions Ross Pearson and James Wilkes, and previous season champions Diego Sanchez, Joe Stevenson, and Nate Diaz. Only UFC 114 the following year has had the same number of TUF winners since. Results. Bonus awards. Fighters were awarded $25,000 bonuses. Fight of the Night, Diego Sanchez vs. Clay Guida, Joe Stevenson vs. Nate Diaz and Chris Little vs. Kevin Burns. Knockout of the Night, Thomas D. Royale. Submission of the Night, Jason Dent.